So I just saw like she got $20 million and I was like, sweet, dude, like good for her. Like she's worked her whole life to be a great basketball player and she's getting recognized for it. But I'm also just like, it's not football where it's like you're crashing into like 250-pound men's of muscle. Is that a term? Men's of muscle? 250 pounds men's of muscles.
Yeah,
it sounds tasty, and I'm straight. It still sounds tasty.
It does. It does.
Stand up, Robert. Let's see if you have an erection. We need to test you. I need to know how hetero you are.
You don't want to see it, man. That does sound good.
Is that what that is? I thought it was a microphone. That's your tip, dude.
It's peaking up, dude. Men's with muscles. It does. There's something about that. It's. I think it will please everybody.
I'm always thinking of calendar ideas. You know, I'm an entrepreneur. So men's with muscle, it seems like I bet Orville Peck would support me on that if I tried to get that out there.
It sounds like Spencer's Gifts magazine. Like, you know what I mean? Like one of those calendars you'd see. Like
that seems porny, doesn't it? Spencer's Gifts.
Yes.
Like he drops a load on a woman's face and he goes like, there's one of Spencer's gifts for you. Happy Hanukkah from Spencer.
I wouldn't put it past Spencer to do that or to have the money to open a store at the mall.
Is Spencer a real person like Victoria's husband from The Secret Place? Is Spencer real?
I don't know. We'll see in Robertland.
I would think you'd be the guy to know, Robert. You have the most obscure history knowledge of like unimportant shit that you're
absolutely unimportant. Yeah.
Other people are like the Nazis, Operation Paperclip, and they came and worked in America for NASA. And you're like, did you know there was a guy that worked at Disneyland that invented the shoelace? And you're like, all right, okay, like, yeah. But that to me is. Everyone else is already covering the Operation Paperclip MK Ultra. So like you talking about your like obscure shit to me is fascinating, but I'm very disappointed that you don't know what's going on with Spencer's Gifts.
Yeah, unfortunately we did. Yeah, I mean, we did do a couple deep dives into certain mall stores. And it's funny because you don't think about that because these are things, like you said, people think about, you know, the WNBA or the Sun or whatever. But I think like, there's just some strange stuff you never think about. And then when you hear the story, like, wow, this is fascinating. And sometimes it does involve Nazis, like Disneyland. You know?
What's the percentage on that?
12%
of the time, weird history doesn't involve the Nazis, but just don't bring up the moon or Mars or Jews or Masons. Otherwise, there's a couple things that it's even a smaller percentage.
Yeah. Dude,
Nazis they started Spencer's Gifts.
Who knows? Fanta. Yeah, Fanta was founded by Adolf Hitler. Was it
Fanta?
Yeah. Yeah, everyone thinks it's from Mexico. But it was...
Which was founded...
by...
I thought we'd say it at the same time. By the Nazis.
The Habsburgs.
That's our catchphrase on Road Dogs. That's how we always bring it improv back around. We go like... Which was founded by the Nazis.
I
love our podcast, by the way. I subscribed. Just so you know.
Man, me too.
I subscribed.
Big fan.
I'm trying to get Kurt Metzger to subscribe, so we have 2 subscribers. But I subscribed. By the way, Kurt Metzger, founded by the Nazis. He's gonna hate this one. He's sorry, Kurt. You're gonna hate this episode, but Tripoli's gonna love it.
Oh, dude. Good.
All of our conspiracy-loving friends.
Hey, there's a conspiracy for everything out there, you know, and that's what I love about now. It's like people are so there's stuff that is real that gets thrown in.
Israel founded.
Okay, there we go.
I we get political. Hey, I can't help it.
It's just there. It's in the front of our brain. All of these topical in that lobe. Yeah, and see, the WNBA wasn't for a long time, and now it is. That's why
the WNBA was.
No, it was in the founded by the Nazis.
Dude, the WNBA was founded by the Nazis. That's what we'll title this episode. We fucking solved it.
That's a little inclusive for the Nazis, though. You know, like
I think they were into that, though, weren't they?
They were into games, yes.
Oh fuck, dude, that's so good. Oh, it makes no sense, and it's beautiful.
Well, earlier we were talking about the female athletes that are in different sports, and I think that that's interesting though, because when you think about that, I mean, I wasn't making a fuss or really commenting on like trans people, but they were competing in stuff with like people that were born female or male.
Yeah.
So yeah, I don't know why it is such a big deal. I know that they did try a woman in baseball at some point a long time ago, like in the 20s maybe. And
that Fargo?
Yeah. And it was in an episode of Fargo. It was pretty good.
Really?
No. You know, Fargo, that's a show that throws me off because I don't want to, take the veil down or blow all that for the fans that just don't follow it closely enough. But it says at the beginning of every season of Fargo that it's based on a true story. And
really?
It says that. And it's like, and the names are changed, but they're all like kind of insane, like Breaking Bad type situations that take place in that part of America. And it's very funny and great and compelling, but it's not real. It's not, I think it's like loosely based on things, but it's too fantastical. I mean, it's a lot of stuff though,
well,
right?
Dude, I mean, like Mitch Hedberg used to have a bit about that, like based on true story is very vague.
Yeah.
So you can do whatever you want, being like, yeah, I went to the zoo and I saw a gorilla, and before you know it, it's like the gorilla's talking and blah blah blah. And it's like, is that the part of the story that's based on? That's all it needs to be, really. Obviously I'm exaggerating, but Fargo, is the show directed by the Coen brothers, or are they doing it, or did they just like sell it to somebody, or like how's that work?
They sold it, and they're like executive producers.
Okay.
It feels like it has like their touch, like it's a quality show. It's
watch it.
It's great, dude. It's kind of like an unsung series. Like, I mean, it's popular enough to have had 5 seasons. But
Chris Rock was in it, right?
Yeah, Chris Rock was in season 4. I haven't seen that one. Yeah, he's in it.
If you hear like Bill Burr's in something or Chris Rock's in something, you're like, yeah, I got to watch it. But there's so much stuff being made out there right now, dude, that I can't keep up. I'm still on it's taken me like probably 2 or 3 years. I'm on season 10, I think, of Modern Family, which I love. That show's amazing. It's got a great realtor. I mean, of course I like that. But no, I love that show. The cast is amazing. The writing's great, but it takes me a long time to get through a show. And then I just started the final season of Curb because I'm trying to catch up. So like Fargo is so far down on the list. I haven't even seen the second season of Mandalorian. Or like, dude, it's hard to keep up with all this stuff. And it's good too. That's the thing that's so trippy, is like, it's not just a bunch of crap getting thrown at the wall. It's like all these filmmaking artists, right? Yeah. Great actors, great production crews, great producers, directors. They're making, I don't know where they get the money for this shit. I'm like, how are you making this much stuff? And then no one even sees it. Like I saw that show last year. I watched White Lotus, the second season, which was freaking so good. Our friend Kamel, so listeners know, our friend Kamel is like this funny little bald filmmaker dude, and he's just like, that's the only way I can describe him to the outside world. I'm trying to like do it fast improv style. He's the sweetest man ever. He's like a little floating Buddha, but also like he's just into film. He's a filmmaker himself, and we have this thing called Watchers Club, and he comes over to my house and we put the kids to bed, and then my wife, me and him, who used to be roommates together, we just like, we sit down, we'll like binge watch, and they force me to stay awake late. They're like, wake up, we're watching another episode. But we watched all of season 2 of White Lotus together, which was great. And we watched all of season 1. This is like in 2 days, by the way. We ate so much Jimmy John's. All of season 1 of
Jimmy John's. Good stuff.
Dude, Jimmy John's is so good, dude.
Have you seen the owner of Jimmy John's? Like that stuff that they put out to try to slander the dude?
Oh, because he's like hunting like buffaloes that were endangered or something.
Yeah, but he's like naked, like laying next to like it is pretty disgusting.
No, I haven't seen that. Is he a comedian or what is he? He's naked laying next to a dead animal. Like he's doing some like Dada, like you were saying.
Yeah, it's very like Sam Hyde, like kind of like crazy, what do you call it, performance art, but he's like laying with like a dead whale or something. I don't know. He's just like a fat dude who's laying with a fat, bloated, dead animal. And that's like one of the things. But he does make a hell of a sandwich. I didn't mean to, for our listeners eating, I apologize. But it's a great place. Make sandwiches quick. So you would do this. You guys would stay up They try to keep you up to watch to kind of binge shows.
Oh yeah, you bringing it back? Okay, because I was like still trying to visualize like just a fat billionaire laying next to a dead animal. You're like, people are into weird needs. Like once you get higher up the hierarchy of the what is it, Maslow's hierarchy? You know?
I just think that when people get like a lot of power, they start taking delight in things that they can do. Like, oh, I can do this. Like, I can poop in someone's mouth while they.
Oh, you're talking about prostitution for rich people? Yeah. What rich dudes
like
need?
The McAfee dude.
I know.
Yeah.
I like, you gotta be thankful if you're still into meat and potato sex. You're like, I don't have to like feel ashamed, Like for me, like a good Saturday night is like, oh, reverse cowgirl when I'm really stoned. But like, dude, some of these dudes, I'm like, that's what it takes to get you to nut. Like, wow. Like I almost, and I'm not trying to say people aren't responsible for their actions, but you're like, I'm sorry, dog. Like that's crazy. That's what you have to get to see God for that split second,
Yeah.
Which is what that orgasm is. We both know it. Don't lie to yourself or others.
Oh,
You're talking to Jesus for 2 split seconds, high-fiving him. Oh, and then you're back to reality. Okay. Physical realm, a lot of stuff to do, taxes, stress, work, responsibilities, but for that split second.
Yeah, dude. I mean, you make me want to just get high and ride you.
Hopefully not me. Folks, this podcast, we're completely... For our Patreon subscribers.
We're just like...
Patreon. It's me and Rob fucking. I just want to make a living in art.
I know. That's what you got to do now. Like podcasters, stop immediately to phone. Like they can't.
And the only subscriber for that's not Kurt Metzger and Sam Tripoli. It's Tim Dillon. Folks, I'll be here all week sucking my friend's cock to get this one big gay grunge comic off.
Oh, dude, I don't know, man. I don't know if we're the type. I think we're a little. We look like burly. Like we could be like artsy. Dude, brawny men right now, dude, with our facial hair.
I'm a heterosexual man as far as I understand the spectrum as it's been described to me by all the weirdos in psychology history that I've read about. But I have definitely worked with a couple of gay dudes. My buddy Randall used to smell my hair every now and then and harass me a little bit. And he definitely convinced me that I'm a hot dude. I'm a hot otter. Yeah, I think you qualify as well. I think you're actually a bear because you're like 6'10", so you're a bear and I'm an otter. So don't talk us out of being two sexy guys that somebody would pay to watch fuck. That's all I'm saying. Just for yours and my confidence and financial securities if necessary.
We just immediately cave in. Like it's not going so well. Like the 3rd episode is just that. It's like you got
to capitalism. It's not sexuality. It's just like, what do I got to do?
Yeah.
And if I have to fucking do it, it better be my friend.
Yeah, and you're like, hey, Rob, do you have the lube set up yet? And I'll be like, no, sorry. Just me trying to get that together.
You fumbling like you were with the microphone and the lighting, where I was like, hey, are you ready to rock? You're like, oh, sorry, I don't know what a USB cable looks like. But then it's for sex. I mean, dude, that just sounds terrifying because honestly, like this, it's hard to relate as much as I love everybody and I love, gay dudes and whatever else. I'm happy for everyone. It's like the smell of a man's breath. You and I have joked about that for like 20 years. Like the smell of a man's breath. It's like, there's nothing sexual about it. There's nothing where you want to like dig in sexually. There's the love and warmth of like camaraderie as a human. Like, don't think my grandpa hasn't kissed me on the lips. And I'm like, oh, I miss my dead grandpa, like kissing me and his mustache hitting me, but not a sexual way. And like, dude, I've jokingly kissed a couple friends for film and just to like, I kissed my buddy in front. I know this is like turning into just like John's gay adventure confessional. I kissed my buddy Adam underneath a fucking mistletoe once for Christmas as a joke in front of our girlfriends. I don't mind that. It's funny. But like, actually thinking it's like hot, like Borat when he's like had his face in his buddy's ass for film. I guess you do it because you want to make a good film, but like some people are excited about that the way I like want to put my face in a woman's ass, and it's just so weird to me because I'm like, men don't smell sexy.
Yeah, we don't.
That's what I'm getting at. That's the title of this episode. But Nazis in the NBA and men don't smell sexy.
I know. By episode 4, it's just you kissing the dead grandpa for likes. We're like so desperate.
Dude, I miss my grandpa, dude. He used to kiss me on the lips. He was a pharmacist, an old Jewish man. He'd be like, and I miss it. And you could smell like his like Old Spice and whatever else. Dude, I miss that kind of shit. And
but you're right though. Oh man! Well, I'm sure it smelled delicious, like bagels and cream cheese.
You
and,
fucking anti-Semite!
No,
how dare you?
And I love bagels.
Where do you go to college? Columbia University.
John, I was protesting all morning. No, I don't. I'm not really making commentary on.
Yeah, you can't even comment on protesting. Dude. I was talking about Columbia
no.
University because they have a lot of anti-Semites. Nothing to do with the war going on or any of that stuff.
Yeah, I was commenting on the war in the Fallout game. It's a great game.
Do you think there's a chatterbait model called Genocide, but like JEN, and she's like super hot?
Yes.
There's gotta be.
I know. Yeah, she kills it.
Folks, rim shot producer Jamie, do the rim shot.
I mean, look, there's got to be someone that enjoys the crisp, delightful, pungent smell of a man's breath. I mean, I remember my dad's breath one time. It's an acquired taste. You know what I mean?
It's like the Arch Deluxe at McDonald's, folks. It's an acquired flavor, which I love, by the way. The Arch Deluxe. It's probably a bad comparison saying I don't kiss dudes for fun sexually, and then I'm like, it's like Arch Deluxes. Then I was like, I used to love Arch Deluxes, folks. Up next, why Jon's taking a long time to come out of the closet. That's the title of this episode of Road Talks.
Dude, hey, whenever you feel free, Jon. It's funny about McDonald's though. And that you saying that having the Arch Deluxe, everyone's speculating that Morgan Spurlock, like that's like always the first joke about the documentarian that did Super Size Me,
yeah,
the movie about McDonald's.
Yeah, I remember him in the 90s or whatever.
And he ate McDonald's for a month or whatever. And we did a parody of that, Trashicize Me, where we had our friend eat trash for 30 days. It was like we did Tim Abad and,
I think I remember
John
that.
Hopkins.
Yeah,
it was really ridiculous. But yeah, so Morgan Spurlock, everyone was like, oh man, it was the McDonald's. But I think he lived a pretty healthy life. Like
how
even
long did he
before
live?
that. Well, he died at 53 of cancer.
Oh, God, it's terrifying.
It did dawn on me the other day because my coworker was eating McDonald's in the break room. Yeah. And we were talking about Morgan Spurlock and he's eating the French fries. And in Super Size Me, they show French fries of McDonald's. They give an example of like how long they last. Yeah. You remember that? They just like, they don't
deteriorate. Like bacteria won't eat them.
No.
That's always like a bad sign when they're like, it's too crappy for bacteria. And you're like looking at it like, I don't know if that's good for us. Like it's made out of plastic or something. Like if the bacteria won't eat. But also when it comes to science, that doesn't necessarily mean anything because there's always these weird, tricky little things that you find out,
Right. Yeah.
Planets aren't circular. They're oval. They're being stretched by the gravity of the spin. And you're like, oh, I thought they were, never mind. Like, or you're like, you ever like raise your hand in a science thing like that? Well, that's obvious. And they go like, ha. It seems that way. You'd think so, but because of the gravity and the blah, blah, and you're like, oh, okay. So like maybe just because bacteria won't eat it. It's like, yeah, I mean, bacteria won't eat honey, right? And honey's good for you.
Yeah. Well, I think a lot of information gets radicalized.
Why?
No one's
they're on
paying
skateboards
attention.
in the 80s?
No. Yes.
Doing a half pipe thing with Tony Hawk. That was radicalized.
It's very tubular, dude, but
tubular.
Far out, man. No, I think that this information gets kind of spun because it's autistic scientists just giving you facts. They're just saying something. Sometimes it doesn't mean anything. And then we hear it layman's and we're like, oh, that means it's bad, I guess. You know what I mean? Sometimes it's just factual. Sometimes it's just like, oh, like it doesn't necessarily mean these components are a bad thing. Like it's just because we hear it and we're like, oh, okay. So it's kind of funny. I mean, I don't know if that made sense.
It made a lot of sense, dude. I mean, the way that me neuro-linguistically processing what you said, it reminded me of like this thought of like, and I've been going back to this a lot lately, is like everything looks like either blurry because I have a lazy eye, and so my left eye never fully focuses, and I've started to relate that to other ways that I can't understand certain stuff. Like that's how my brain's kind of processed it in this like abstract way, because my right eye, my left eye is pretty freaking rad. I'm pretty proud of you. Don't you get worried, buddy. It's this guy I'm frustrated with my whole life. It's this eye it can't focus. So if I close my good eye, like things they don't feel real. They feel like they're flashing at a very high rate, like it's kind of black and neon, and then it's whatever the colors are and the shape. So I can see you like right now, but like I can't grab it with my eye, and that's how I feel like about like a lot of stuff in the world. That, and I'm like, is everyone else lying, or do they truly understand these things? Because I can't understand most of it. It looks blurry, and like my eye can't grab it, but in my brain, it can't grab it like as a thought and make some like real sense out of it.
Yeah.
Like in words, my brain can make sense out of it, but like the actual part that like is like, oh, I understand that is like so slow. It's great. I'm not, again, Mr. Brain, please, or Mrs. Brain, don't, I'm not complaining. I appreciate you. I don't want it to, you don't want your brain to be like hearing you complain and be like, oh yeah, you think I could like work a little slower? You think I'm not gonna like it takes its apron off? I don't want my brain to take my apron off and be like, fucking figure it out yourself. I'm like, so I don't want to just be jello, just chilling. So yes, I appreciate what my brain does.
Yeah, my brain did that a long time ago, Mr. Jon.
but you know what I'm saying though, Robert? Like it can't grasp onto so much of this stuff. So I'm like, do other people understand it? Or like I'll hear people that are so called brilliant, like you'll hear Neil deGrasse Tyson talk about something and you'll be like, that was a really stupid take on it. Like, do you even get what you're talking about? Like if and I'm like, does anyone understand, or is everyone just kind of being like, yeah, make the check out to, and you're just like, okay, because I can't understand like most stuff. It's really blurry, or it looks like a big paragraph with really small writing, which I guess also goes back to bad vision. And I'm just like, I'm like, it's like really big paragraph with small writing. There's no way you understand it, or maybe you do, and like I'm the one idiot in this world,
this is not the reality.
One of many idiots,
Yeah, well, this is the reality.
Does any of that make sense, dude? We both just had a lot of word salad. Thanks for subscribing. If you'd like to see us on stage, we're at Barney's Beanery in Pasadena on Wednesdays at 8 p.m. The show's free, but we will have a chum bucket from SpongeBob that you can put a tip in at the end of the show. All right, Robert, go on.
See you soon, folks.
See you soon, folks.
See our first show, man. I'm very excited about that.
Oh, dude. See you guys there. Not with my right eye. I don't know if I already told you, but my right eye is completely shit. Cheers. L'chaim.
Yes, dude. I do enjoy Jewish pirates.
How dare you? There's a lot of anti-Semitism coming from you, especially on an episode about how the Nazis founded so many things, Robert. I'm starting to wonder, did the Nazis found you? No. They found you. They found me right here. I was hiding. I didn't go seek with Hitler.
No, dude.
Jojo Bunny, dude. Okay.
I'm I'm pro everybody. You know what I'm saying? Pro-human, dude. That's all
you're an all lives matter guy. Cool. Yeah. Hashtag this guy. If anyone wants to. He's
I didn't mean that, dude. Furries are cool.
No, I'm just riffing. Dude, furry.
Dude, well, what I was going to say is I think this actually goes back to the Fargo thing. Is
what?
Like Neil deGrasse Tyson, all these people, everything that they do now is just like, it's like, it's their show. It's their show now. It's just them doing content. So everybody's like, all right, well, we'll like embellish this to make a piece. That's what people do. I mean, I mean, there's plenty of people we know in entertainment when they do something and they're all heated and all great at speaking when we're on a pod like this. And afterwards, like, yeah, I figured I'd go with that take. And you're like, oh wait, that's not how you feel.
Totally. I mean, it's like a disease. It's just one more. And I'm not like, what do they call it? Like they call everybody communist nowadays, or like one of these people that's like, I'm not trying to complain about it. It's just a symptom of capitalism, It's just like it's like the fracturing of everything and making us all be salespeople for our own brands, whatever business you're in, like, that's part of being a salesperson, is like, at least the old fashioned way, but the new way is like about like clickbait headlines, picking a side. So I have a good friend that works in content in Hollywood, and like Hollywood is like such a fucking insane place, and there's so many people that
Hollywood, Florida.
It's actually Hollywood, Lebanon, Palestine, Texas, and so it's a very small city, inside a town, inside a building, inside someone's mind. It doesn't exist. Anyways, so in the entertainment industry, there's like these companies, and they're just trying to figure out how to grab your attention so that they can sell advertising and make their money. That's where they make their living. So they don't make the money off the art itself. Like movies, people pay ticket prices. Subscriptions to these streaming services, they get money from that. But overall, I think the most of the other fish swimming in that sea in Hollywood are just trying to sell advertising. So they need to captivate audiences. And the soullessness of it is so weird. And like even this friend who I know who's the sweetest, most awesome dude was telling me like years ago, like the kind of content I needed to make as a real estate agent. And I was so stressed and bummed about it because it was like, I was like, oh, I'm not into politics and I don't think it's good for like humanity as a whole to like point fingers. I think we should be working together and finding our common grounds. And like, you know, like if people are diplomatic in general, like that's all you can ask for as a human being, is that your neighbor is just a human that sees a human in you. And maybe they have like what you would consider crazy views on like a presidential candidate, or like you disagree with them on important issues like healthcare and abortion and war and where our money goes, like important stuff, but still disagree because we live in a fucking pile of information that you can't decipher for the most part. And my friend was like, yeah, but like, if you want to make money, you got to pick a side and like go hard. And I was just like, well, that's not me. He's like, just do it and you'll make money off of that. And I was like, I can't, like, cause I don't even know how to like come up with the, you know what I mean? Like the daily, like looking in the mirror, like feeling like I'm not adding to the world, you know? And then they'll come up with these excuses like, well, when you get a big enough audience, you'll be able to do this and that. And I was just like, so what do they call it? It justifies the means justify the end or something, or the end justifies the means. The end justifies the means. And I was just like, I can't, you could hear Mr. Rogers like in your heart, like being like, follow God, like follow your heart, you know, but they just want you to be like, sell out the human race. And so even some of these people that are awesome that you like, you love, you watch their podcast and you go like, do you even like, I mean, I love like Rogan and like he'll platform some people that I was just like, don't play dumb. You had to know that this lady or this guy was going to like be a like kind of a shill, you know, and they already sold their book. And then you go, you know, and it's like, yeah, like people are just like, you get caught up in it. And I've just had it even at the low level of like a local real estate agent, like where you're like, just do this. And you're like, I can't say that every fucking day. You know, if I could do it one time and you write me a check for $10 million, sure, I'll say whatever you want, just one time. And then I'll retire and I'll be like, spend the rest of my life being like cool and being like, yeah, that was like the one thing I had to do. But if you're like putting out a message every day based on, I have to stick with this because that's my brand and my marketing scheme. Yeah. It's like, that's like a really unhealthy diet that you're like serving up people, but let alone being the server of it. And so you're eating it too. It's like, where's the growth in that? Where's the humanity? Where's the progress for the future of the human race?
Well, you know what I love about all this stuff is they try to sell, like they're trying to sell people something. And what's funny is it's like, we all know what like reality is. And you know, that's why like
bold statement, bro.
Yes. Well, mental health, you never hear them talk about like, hey, let's like, they never talk about actual humanity and just understanding because it's boring. They don't want someone who's boring. They want they want to be able just to rile everyone up. That's why
they want to jack off their anger. Like there's like a grifting, like anger addiction where like the grifter's like, you should be mad. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So they do this thing where it's like, you know who's to blame for all this? Let's get them. And like people like love it like porn. Where it's like, I gotta cream that. Well,
it's funny
you know?
because this all chases a Fargo. I keep bringing up Fargo, but like,
which was founded by the Vikings.
No, I don't know.
I can't believe you fucked that part up.
I knew I would.
Guys, we're going to be at Barney's Beanery every Wednesday in Pasadena. And a side note, Barney's Beanery founded. Wow, I put my arms up. I'm doing the thing. Welcome to a Road Dogs podcast where the hosts can't collaborate.
No, we will soon. I'll be on the same page, dude. I'm catching up, man. I feel you though that there's just like a lack of like decency with that stuff because they're putting out stuff like this is the news, this is factual, this is how I feel about this. Like that's what it is supposed to be. Like this is a think piece, right? But like with Fargo and like art, like because it bothers me. I remember someone was talking about flowers. What's the Scorsese movie with the?
Oh, I didn't see it, but I know Jason Isbell, one of my favorite musicians, is in it.
Killers of the Flower Moon. Killers of the Flower Moon.
Dude, well, Kamel saw it, our filmmaker friend.
Oh yes. I really enjoyed it.
It's only 4 hours. I wanted it to be 5. That's what something Kamel would probably say. You saw the whole thing?
I did. Yeah, I really enjoyed it. I mean, it's a heavy movie. It's a great movie, but the thing with like art and movies, like I remember Stephen King didn't like the Shining adaptation, and someone didn't. That's so
funny, right?
Killers of, yeah,
it's like Chappelle like being like, I wanted to do Half Baked differently. It's like, no, don't change Half Baked. No.
Yeah, but I feel like it's all the artist's interpretation. Even if a movie is based on history, it's still a movie, you know. But like these guys that put out stuff out there that are supposed to be political people, and they put out stuff that's like a farce just because they know their audience. That I'm so sick of that, because it's just so, it's like we all play along too. It's like, oh yeah, that's what he says, but it's boring if someone understands everybody and is trying to make, like, I just want boring. I want someone who's real and boring. That's all that I want. It's been fun with the WWE, fucking entertaining as shit, but I mean, that's the thing though. It's just, we're not gonna. Those aren't the people that make money. It's the vicious dogs. You know what I'm saying? I don't know where this went. I don't know where I'm going.
Vicious dogs. That's the name of our podcast today. Instead of road dogs, it's vicious dogs.
I think I'd rather listen to them than me right now. But,
I would enjoy listening to you right now. You were talking about how you want boring, and we were both pretty boring there. So I think we hit the nail on the head.
Jesus, you're right. We found it.
Was that a pun when I said the nail? I hit the nail through the feet and the hands, folks. Sorry, Lord. Jesus will understand. Oh, one thing I know about Jesus is that motherfucker's got a sense of humor.
He can take a joke like he can take a
what are you going to say about Christ Almighty?
I don't know,
King of
dude.
Kings. I said he has a sense of humor, but you can also hurt his feelings. I mean, my God.
Yeah,
like many sons of rich people that I know, you know, big leaders, he's probably a really cool dude.
I'm sure.
You got to rebel against your dad a little bit.
Yeah. He hung out with prostitutes, right? And he worked at Home Depot. He could do magical stuff.
Are you just saying this because that's part of your brand and the history that you're trying to push forward, Robert? Proving my point right here.
Oh, no.
Oh, yes.
Man. Yeah, this is why I stick to Disneyland. You know, this is why I stick to
you're better at
cartoons.
Disneyland, Disney historian.
Yeah.
Unless you want to bring Jesus into that, which I'm sure would be pretty interesting too, because you know there's got to be some weird stuff there, right? There's a couple underground chapels, right?
Oh yeah. Walt, he'd go. Yeah, I can see that being a Satanist church actually at Disney for some reason.
Don't ruin Disney. I would be so mad to find out like Walt Disney like just murdered international prostitutes and like was involved in rituals and all that stuff. I would be so bummed. Bummed. I know he's supposed to be anti-Semitic. People always bring that up, like, but people have always thrown around like that person's racist, that person, and it's like, did they just have an off-kilter joke? Are they an attention whore that says things to get people riled up? Like, there's a difference between that and being authentically like, you know, a racist. Like Henry Ford was like handing out like brochures like, these Nazis, they really got it great. You know, they really got a good idea of things, you know, and you're like, okay, that's kind of weird, right?
Yeah.
Which I think Chris Farley's related to them too, which is really weird, you know?
Oh, really? Henry Ford?
I think Chris Farley is related to the Ford people. There's some interesting stuff. I don't want to start any rumors. Kurt, if you're watching this, research that and tell us what's up. It's Tripoli. If you're watching this, you know, research this, tell us what's going on. But yeah, you Farley, do know about Walt Disney.
And the Schneike. Holy.
Yeah, Schneike is actually German. Mach Schneike. They used to yell that to the Jews when they were kicking them out of their houses and taking them to the ghettos and Schneikes. Lived in a
concentration.
You ever lived in a VW van down by the Rhine River? That guy ate so much schnitzel. All right, but Robert, seriously, what was Walt Disney actually anti-Semitic, or was he just complaining about like some powerful like Jews that ran some stuff? Because you can get how like in the old days, right? Like Shakespeare like was like pissed at the Jews, and it's like at the time he didn't have the internet to research certain stuff. And to be either more anti-Semitic would have been one of the risks, but he could also have found out like, oh, the Jews, like they were like appointed by like kingdoms to like collect money on like holy days when like there's certain reasons. I know I'm butchering it, that like Jews were known as like the fucking like money people because they were like able to be they were like collecting money for like royalty, right? For their banking stuff. And then all these people were like, the Jews are all in the money, which I'm jealous of Jews that are like good on money because I'm not one of them and my tribe and family isn't part of that. I'm just like, oh man, like I still get blamed for everything, but it would be nice to be doing it from like, you know, like a Bentley and not a Honda.
Yeah, I mean, I don't. I think Walt. I don't know if there's any like substantial like quotes from him. There's probably people secondhand that might.
Was it just some like bad Jew that worked for him that was like a bad employee and he got fired? He's like, Walt hates Jews. Because we all know that guy now. Like, you know, the black guy that was an asshole and he gets kicked out of your band. And then everyone's like, oh, you're racist. You're like, well, no, he's an asshole. It doesn't matter that he was black. They're like, you kicked out the only black guy. It's like, not because he was black. He was just a fucking douche.
Yeah. Well, I mean,
did that happen? Was there a Jew that was a shitty animator? And it's like, this guy doesn't know how to draw hands. I got to fire Rubenstein. He's a fucking awful. He draws really bad Mickey hands. And then Rubenstein gets fired and he tells everyone like, Walt doesn't like Jews. You see?
No, I mean, I think that he did have some, you know, old school Midwest. He's from Kansas, but he was also, I mean,
my grandmother was from Kansas. Well, moved to Kansas when she first came to America from the UK.
Oh, really? Yeah.
She could be the reason he hates Jews. Maybe he hit on her the same way they wouldn't let Hitler into art school. Walt Disney was like, I'm going to get some strange from this British Jew chick. And my grandma turned him down and he's like, fucking hate those Jews.
That could be it, dude. I mean, if I got turned down by a smoking British, Jewish girl, dude, oh man,
British Jewish chicks are so fine.
Yeah, what's
sounded weird British? After I talked about kissing my grandpa and now my grandma being a British Jew chick, and I'm like, but they are hot. If I looked at like, you know, like the timeline of like hot chicks, like Marvelous Mrs. Maisel, I think she's British, right? I've never seen the show, but
yes, yeah,
she's British.
She's an English bird, as they say.
Oh,
yes.
Oi, mate.
Oi. You know what I love about all these like historical films is when they always use the British dialect. Like it could be like Genghis Khan's biopic, and it's like, we from the jolly old steppes of Eastern
that is not
Eurasia, mate. Me Genghis Khan.
That's not how they have documentary. They have like refined British voices, and you just did like a fucking football hooligan guy. Oh, if you look over here, you see these these dingoes. They mate right under the sun in front of everyone. Actually, I don't even know what voice I was doing.
Life ain't nothing but a game of frowns. Now, yeah, there's they don't really use that Cockney, you know. Yeah, it's always very refined, like you said. But I'm like, man, did the Brits did they colonize like outer space, you know, and Star Wars?
Some people think they did actually. There's a conspiracy. Speaking of conspiracy theory about Nazis, they think that like the British and the Nazis were in cahoots, and I think they colonized the moon or something like that. Dude, there's so many funny ones.
Whoa.
Yeah, dude.
I get to see that, like the Queen's like face, like in the moon. Like I can kind of see something like that.
Yeah, there's some like funny ass stuff, dude. Like where they think that, and honestly, you're like maybe probability wise not happening, but then like potential that it could be like very very small. You're like, yeah, that could be a thing. It's very unlikely, but it could be. I mean, weird stuff, dude. Stuff's weird.
Did they send some Brits up to? Was there a? Do they fuck with space? What happened to going to the moon? Are we done with that? Why aren't we doing that?
I think we're still going to the moon.
Really? Because, you know, they said that there's been 3 people to go to the moon. Or, yeah, they said the third man on the moon, but I don't know who that is. There's Buzz Aldrin and Neil deGrasse Tyson, right? Neil Armstrong and Buzz Aldrin are the only 2 that we could all say. How come no one talks about? We all know about Spencer's Gifts. More than they talk about moon.
I think the nicest way to bring it around Spencer's Gifts.
Yes,
I think dude, good glow in the dark blacklight posters. I think that they're planning on going to the moon. I also think it's a big plan on getting to Mars. Is that they will have a base on the moon to launch most of the stuff from the moon because it's like easier to. I don't know. Now we're getting into that science stuff that I told you. It's very blurry. Come see us Wednesdays. Pasadena.
Founded by the
Nazis. Wait. Wednesdays was founded by the Nazis. He once claimed that the weekday Wednesday was founded by the Nazis. Please welcome our guest, Robert Thompson. By the way, we got to have Josh Robert Thompson on because we did those bad British voices, and we got to have like a real voice actor on. And Josh Robert Thompson is a good friend of ours, and he's so fucking talented. We got to have Josh on the show at Barney's because his stand-up's great, but we got to have him on the pod, dude, because he'll be so much fun.
Sign me up, dude. Let's get Josh out here, man.
Get him out here, dude.
Yeah.
I'll text him. You text him. Let's text him at the same time. Let's do a group thread. That's the most fun. Like a tag team group thread. Everyone dreads seeing like the little thing on their phone, like that shows like multiple people in it. Like, oh fuck.
That is a dread. Yeah, because group chats.
It's intense, dude.
Yeah, anxiety, dude. Yeah, because there's drama. The people, getting.
Well, you don't want to like get a bing on your phone for like someone like I'm not responding. Why the fuck do I got to do this?
Yeah.
But so let's do it to Josh. Let's do a group thread.
Okay,
it's settled.
Yes,
guys, come out Wednesdays to Barney's Beanery in Pasadena. We got a super rad Road Dogs comedy show up in the balcony in the back. We call it the balcony, the belly room balcony. It's got a low ceiling. It's open air. It's beautiful. It's in honor of the great Angelo Bowers, who we used to go there together all the time. It was a wonderful show back in the day. So we've reinvigorated it, me and Robert, and we're just gonna rock it. We're excited to see you guys. So come out to Barney's Beanery in Pasadena, 8 p.m. It's free, and it's gonna be great. Great comics too. We got, dude, Robert and I have the hookups on like so many great comics. They're gonna be coming by.
It's gonna be a great show. I'm so stoked, man. And the cool thing that we're doing this in tribute to Angelo, because I remember when you started in comedy, and I would see you with Angelo, and it'd be an open mic or whatever. But you guys were hilarious, and it was so cool because it was like, obviously we knew people that did comedy, like we knew Josh, but like as stand-ups, that was the first time I knew someone like, oh, like Angelo just to me sounded like a stand-up. He was just dude. Just naturally.
He was such a fucking natural. He was the rare combo of being a genius and being just a sweetheart of a dude, and just being hilarious. Just the best road dog you could ask for. That's what named all this shit after him, because you'd see him and he'd be like, road dog, like from across the room, extremely huggable.
I've loved this, man. It's been fun. I actually have to get ready to go to outer space right now, man. I'm going to do some heroin that I got from the feds. I'm just kidding. Don't have me riff before noon. I'm sorry.
Yeah, I was going to say, what an interesting outro. I'm just sitting here. I was like, we can end it there. And then you're like, let me just do this bit real quick. It's like, call that a bit? Okay. Angelo's up there looking down like, dear Lord. Dude, thanks for doing this. Thanks for watching, guys. Hit the subscribe and come on Wednesdays to Barney's, dude. It'll be freaking rad to see you.